at the Point of Death is a case study on near-death experiences. This case study was written by David M. Moss III. It's autobiographical and explores his own near-death experiences, two in particular. The first, an automobile accident that he had when he was in his mid-30s. Later on, when he was in his mid-50s, he had a massive heart attack. In each instance, Mr. Moss experienced a great separation from God. Now, this separation created a faith crisis. This faith crisis is brought with it guilt and shame. Mr. Moss is a man of the cloth and a man of great faith. This created an urgency to cope with this rapidly before he descended into despair. Now, also, Mr. Moss experienced what's known as an anniversary reaction. The anniversary reaction is experienced by many people who've had near-death experiences. This is a type of PTSD flashback specifically geared towards the near-death experience itself. As the anniversary of the experience gets closer and closer, anxiety builds up, and you have that reliving of the moment. Now, according to Dr. Russell Noyes from Iowa State University, he's a psychiatrist there, he says that there are three very distinct stages of anniversary reaction. The first stage is the resistance stage. In the resistance stage, you try to recapture the illusion of control on what's happening, what's transpiring. Then you move from there to your panoramic stage. This is that moment that you hear about where my life flashed before my eyes. You have a reevaluation of key events in your history, in your life, key moments in your life. Then you move into the transcending phase. In the transcending phase, you ease into an acceptance, a serenity, if you will. This is where you prepare to meet thy God. Well, all this is just leading up to what we think of when we think of death. Actual death is so much more than your heart not beating, respiratory function ceasing. You see, your cerebral activity continues for a couple of minutes after those other functions stop. The moment of death, the articulo mortis, as it's been called, is what we're really interested in. What transpires at the actual moment of death. We have countless studies on leading up to death and the reactions that people have as a result. Their faith crisis, their loop of despair. But what actually happens at the moment you actually die? That's the mystery. But moving forward, Mr. Moss realized that his problem was the guilt and despair. The guilt and despair from feeling separated from his Creator. The my God, why hast thou forsaken me moment. Quite sad, really. Well, finally, Mr. Moss comes to the realization that it's not that his God, his Creator, is out there, removed from him, but is within him, within us all. That we find God in the uniqueness of each moment. Truly live in each moment. Death is not the end of time for us, but it's the infancy of eternity. Our infancy of the next phase, the next life of eternity. This realization helped David Moss III move beyond his despair. Hopefully it will for others who've had similar near-death experiences.